I think I have cracked the code to the matrix, using moon cycles to forecast the Bitcoin market. Hi, and thanks for turning on the Crypto One channel. My name is Philip, and I'm truly excited to share my analysis of the moon cycles and their effect on the Bitcoin market. If you are skeptical about the moon cycles affecting the Bitcoin market, then please watch this video until the end, and comment down below as to what you think. I will review how the moon cycles have affected the market over the past few years. Then I will look forward until 2026 to see what the moon cycles predict the market will do next. Before I do that, you need to understand the basics of eclipses, so please let me give you a quick rundown on this topic. As always, this is not financial advice, it is for educational purposes only. There are two types of eclipses, solar and lunar. Before we start, we need to define why we are only interested in lunar eclipses and not solar eclipses. Solar eclipses align with the new moon, which tends to have a more positive effect on the market. As a simple way to remember, solar means sun, which is up. A sunny day can lift people's mood up. So when you think of solar eclipse, think of it lifting the market up. Lunar eclipses align with the full moons, which tend to mark local bottoms in the market. Full moons are much more negative and bearish, and so therefore lunar eclipses which align with full moons are much more bearish. We are more interested in the lunar eclipses because they have a much more negative influence on the market. And when the lunar eclipse is a particularly strong one, it tends to drag the market down. When we have a year clear of any strong lunar eclipses, as you will see later in this video, the market is allowed to blossom and thrive upwards. However, when the lunar eclipses are strong types of eclipses, the market gets pulled down by this bearish influence. Before I show you the effects that lunar eclipses have had on the market in the past, and what the moon cycles say the market will do from now until 2026, you need to first understand the four types of lunar eclipses. I will talk about the four types of lunar eclipses in order, going from the strongest, total eclipse, which have the most negative effect on the market, to the weakest, almost eclipses, which have the least effect on the market. The total lunar eclipse takes place when the Earth comes between the Sun and the Moon and its shadow covers the Moon. This is the most powerful type of eclipse. The next most influential eclipse is the partial eclipse. A partial lunar eclipse happens when the Earth moves between the Sun and the full moon, but they aren't precisely aligned. Only part of the moon's visible surface moves into the dark part of the Earth's shadow. Next is the penumbral lunar eclipse. A penumbral lunar eclipse takes place when the moon moves through the outer part of the Earth's shadow, the penumbra. This type of eclipse is not as dramatic as other types and is often mistaken for a regular full moon. Lastly, the weakest lunar eclipse is the almost lunar eclipse, which is when the lunar eclipse doesn't actually occur even though it's due. As a quick summary, the four types of lunar eclipses are the total lunar eclipse, the partial lunar eclipse, the penumbral eclipse, and the almost lunar eclipse. Now that we've gone over the basics, you're ready to get to the interesting stuff. How do the different eclipses affect the market? And what does the market have in store for us next? Let's first start with the bullish markets over 2016, 2017, and 2020-2021. In 2016, we can see that all the eclipses were the weaker two eclipses, 3 of them being penumbral and 1 being an almost lunar eclipse. This year was a bullish year where the price increased roughly 130%. As we entered 2017, we were greeted with a friendly penumbral lunar eclipse and a partial eclipse later in the year. 2017 was obviously a major bull run year if you weren't aware. Note how through both 2016 and 2017 we never saw a total lunar eclipse and only had 1 partial eclipse. Over these 2 years we had 3 penumbral eclipses, 1 almost lunar eclipse and 1 partial eclipse. Then, in January 2018, the market came to a halt and entered a bear market, which, as you can see, was greeted with the first total lunar eclipse we had in 2 years. If a picture can paint 1,000 words, I think this picture tells a very clear story where the total eclipse brought an end to the party that lasted for 2 years before it. Also, notice how the 2017 bull market peak occurred at a new moon, which is shown by the hollow circle in this picture. The new moon marked the local top of the market. The next bullish market started in early 2019 and lasted through 2020 and the first half of 2021. Notice the total lunar eclipse on the bottom left, which marked the bottom of the 2018 bear market. After that, the market saw only partial and penumbral eclipses all through 2019, 2020 and the first half of 2021. In total, we saw 4 penumbral eclipses and 1 partial eclipse. The bull market raged on until May 2021, when the market crashed. What happened in May 2021? You guessed it, a total lunar eclipse. The first we had seen in 2.5 years since the 2018 bear market low. This total lunar eclipse marked the end of the bull run, which started in 2019 after the last total lunar eclipse. I think it's pretty clear that the bull markets were periods without the bearish effects of the total lunar eclipse. What happens when we look at the bear markets? If we saw weaker eclipses like the penumbral eclipses during the bull market years, then what about the bear markets? Were they marked by periods of stronger eclipses such as total lunar eclipses? And did we see much less weaker eclipses like penumbral eclipses during bear markets? The 2018 bear market started off with the first total lunar eclipse seen in over 2 years. This was followed by another later in the year and then another total lunar eclipse at the end, which marked the bear market low. In 2018 there were 3 eclipses, all of which were total lunar eclipses. The next total lunar eclipse was in May 2021, which saw a huge price crash and signified an end to the bull market. 2022 is a very clear bear market year. At the time of this video, the price is sitting around the $20,000 level after a nearly 70% crash from the all-time high. The first lunar eclipse in 2022 was of course a total lunar eclipse. The second and only other lunar eclipse in 2022, which occurs in November, is also a total eclipse. We haven't finished the year yet, but it's pretty safe to say that things don't look like they will get truly bullish until after we have passed the total lunar eclipse due at the end of 2022. So there we have it. The last 2 bear markets contained a total of 7 eclipses, 6 of which were total eclipses and 1 of which was the next most severe, a partial lunar eclipse. The previous bull markets all happened in periods devoid of total eclipses and were mostly characterized with penumbral lunar eclipses. Let me know what you think of this analysis. Have I gone completely off the rails? Does this make any sense whatsoever? Let me know in the comments. Next, we will look ahead until 2026 to see what the eclipses tell us about the future of the Bitcoin market. In 2023, there are 2 lunar eclipses, the first of which is a penumbral and the second is a partial. This indicates that the bear market will end at roughly the end of 2022, and the market could slowly recover over the course of 2023, steadily rebuilding the bullish sentiment in the market again. 2024 again looks like a positive year. We have no total lunar eclipses. There are 3 lunar eclipses in total, a penumbral, a partial, and an almost eclipse. 2024 is another positive year, and I think it could be very bullish with a classic blow off top like in 2017. I base this on my market cycle analysis, which I will talk about in the next video, so please subscribe so you don't miss the next important update. 2025 eclipses indicate a bearish market. We start the year with a total lunar eclipse and are revisited with another later in the year. 2026 is again bearish with 1 total and 1 partial lunar eclipse. Again, this is not financial advice. I am currently wearing my conspiracy hat, so do not take action based on what I say. To summarize, what the moon cycles indicate the next few years hold. We can see a recovery from the bear market in 2023, a potential bull market year similar to 2017 in 2024, then an end to the bull market as we come into 2025, which is followed by 2 years of bear market in 2025 and 2026. This analysis corresponds to my market cycle analysis, which I will cover in the next video. So please subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next important update. Share this video with your friends and family who may want to know what the Bitcoin market could potentially be like over the next few years. Please like the video and even applaud quietly to yourself if you found value in this video. Finally, please comment below if you completely disagree or are curious to hear more. Thank you.